Hello, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to today's webinar, Your Questions Answered About Moving from Dynamics SL or GP to Business Central. We appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule to join us. Just a couple of housekeeping items we'd like to mention before we begin. All attendees are in listen-only mode. If you have any questions throughout the presentation, please submit them through the GoToWebinar question box. We'll be answering questions following the presentation. We're also recording today's session, so everyone will receive a copy of it in tomorrow's follow-up email. I'd like to go ahead and introduce today's speaker, Dave Druin. Dave is an Executive Vice President with Velocio in charge of our Dynamics SL and Business Central practices and has been with the company for 12 years. So at this point, Dave, I believe we're ready to transition over to you to get started.
Okay, thank you, Rebecca, and good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining our session related to Business Central. You know, I've been in this business for over 30 years, and this is only the second time I've experienced a major paradigm shift in our industry. The last time was in the mid-1990s when GP and SL rolled out their Windows versions, and now we're on the forefront of the next shift, which is moving to the cloud. And I hope everybody is excited, as I am, about this new shift in our industry. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak with you today about the latest Microsoft Cloud solution, which you may have heard a lot of buzz about. Here's the list of topics I'd like to cover. I want to start off with just giving you a brief overview of Business Central and really the Microsoft Cloud and why you might want to consider migrating. Then I want to go into what your options are in terms of migrating to Business Central. And then we'll spend quite a bit of time going through some cost scenarios as we've spent some time kind of analyzing things and building tools and building processes. So we'll talk about that. And then take a look at the licensing model and the transition pricing. Microsoft has some discounts that they've put on the table to entice Dynamics customers to migrate over to the cloud. And then we'll follow up with the Q&A like Rebecca said. So let's start with the Microsoft Cloud. So Microsoft is committed, starting with the top with Satya Nadella, to providing a cloud you can trust. They take very seriously the commitment to protect customers in a cloud-first world. They follow a set of standards and best practices to ensure that their cloud services are reliable and perform as you need them to. And this is very important to those companies that are migrating to the cloud. And they've actually partnered with a wide range of industry and government entities to establish confidence and trust in really a wider cloud ecosystem which extends around the world. Microsoft has been and will continue to invest heavily in their cloud platform, so you can be assured that the latest technology will be available to you to help you run your business. In order to take advantage, though, of this latest innovation, obviously you need to move to the cloud. And that's, Microsoft's position is to try to drive as many of their customers to the cloud as possible. As you can see by these numbers, there's no doubt that the cloud platform is here to stay and companies are moving to the cloud at a rapid pace. I mean, just look at these figures. 80% of Fortune 500 companies are on the Microsoft cloud, and 50% of them are running on a Windows Azure system, which is the same system that Dynamics 365 runs on. Microsoft has invested more than $15 billion in their infrastructure across 100 data centers. So you can be rest assured that their platform is reliable and your data is secure. From the statistics presented here, you can see that companies are embracing the Microsoft Cloud platform at an astounding rate, and it's going to continue to grow. So where does Dynamics 365 fit in the Microsoft Cloud? Dynamics 365 is a SaaS solution. It stands for Software as a Service. And it's on the same platform as Microsoft Office and Power BI. As you will learn, these SaaS solutions are integrated at the core, and the traditional wall that separates your ERP system from other systems will disappear. Mobility, Cortana, and machine learning technologies are becoming commonplace in the new cloud world. I can't reiterate enough the fact that the innovation today from Microsoft is happening in the cloud. Dynamics 365 Business Central connects people, processes in a single unified solution so data can be quickly and easily shared with key people throughout your company. You have access to the most current, accurate data so you're making the most informed decisions possible. As an example, the second a salesperson in the field makes a change to a customer quote, it gets reflected in the numbers being pulled for your forecast report back in the office. With more accurate information at your fingertips, decisions have a bigger impact on the bottom line. Functions like payroll, banking, and CRM systems are just as integrated, so your people can share the most current data and respond to current customer requests faster with the most accurate information. Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central is a management solution that's connecting people and processes like never before. From day one, it makes managing financials, sales, service, and operations easier and faster. That's because it's built on the Dynamics Nav code base, so the features and functionality of the system are deep and robust. Do you know that the Business Central is built on Dynamics NAV, which has the largest install base worldwide and is used by over 140,000 companies? Just to put that in comparison, Dynamics SL has about 12,000 customers. So Dynamics NAV and eventually Business Central, as we migrate, will be 10 times the install base of Dynamics SL. GP in comparison has about 45,000 companies. So even GP is a third the size of the install base of Dynamics NAV. Business Central leverages that deep functionality built over years of being used in the real world by a lot of companies. It's a system that you can really leverage to run your business. One of the benefits of being on the Microsoft Cloud platform, of course, is the application and the data that can be accessed from any device. This is expected and necessary to keep current with your competitors. It supports being able to capture data sooner and respond to business activities more quickly. And this is just inherent in the cloud platform. I'm sure you've experienced using other cloud products like Outlook on your mobile device. The same interactive experience exists with Dynamics 365 Business Central. Here's an example of a tight integration between Dynamics 365 Business Central and Outlook. Within Outlook, the system can automatically pull up a customer or vendor record based on the sender's email address. And it's not just reading information, you can actually create quotes or invoices right from within Outlook. This rich integration exists across all the Office 365 applications. Over time, you're going to see that Outlook, Dynamics 365, Power BI, and other SaaS applications that run on the Microsoft Cloud will become merged as one. So it's not going to you're not going to be paying attention to what application you go into. You're just going to be performing functions from a single entry point. And that's how the cloud world is changing, and that's why this is a major paradigm shift in our industry. So now let's talk about your options for transitioning to Business Central. And I'm sure a lot of you who have joined it want to hear about, how do we migrate there? How do we get there? and when do we have to move? And that's what I really want to talk about. So first of all, let's talk about two options for moving to business to the cloud, to Business Central. Option one is to use a technology called Intelligent Edge, and I call this option kind of dipping your toe in the water. Intelligent Edge replicates the data from your Microsoft Dynamics SL, GP, or NAV system. It replicates that data to Business Central so you can begin to use the business analytics that exist and have already been built in the Dynamics 365 platform. Option two is to do a direct migration. Doing a direct migration, you're actually moving master data, balances, and open transactions into Business Central. And once that data is replicated and you validated the system and you've completed your testing, we actually shut down your on-premise legacy system and you start running your business fully in Business Central. So option two allows you to take advantage of all the features and rich functionality that Business Central has to offer. Microsoft realizes, though, that not every company is ready to move to the cloud, so they have built a solution called Intelligent Cloud Insights, which uses the Intelligent Edge technology to bring some of the data from your on-premise solution, like Dynamics GP, NAV, or SL, into Business Central, so you can take advantage of analytics being used like Power BI, Power Apps, and artificial intelligence. So this is really a nice entry point if you want to get a flavor for what the cloud has to offer. This is a good entry point to get that feel. Intelligent Cloud Insight provides access to a portal containing KPIs that have been created using data from Business Central. These are the same KPIs that exist for companies that are running their business on Business Central, but obviously they're only exposing the KPIs that are meaningful based on the data that's being replicated. Right now, I know for GP and SL, there are about 10 tables from the legacy system that are being updated or replicated to the cloud. NAV is a little bit more robust since Business Central is based off of NAV products. So all of the NAV tables will replicate to the cloud. So you'll be able to really take advantage of some of the or all of the KPIs and business insight alerts that have been created. And using, this is one of the things that I'm kind of very excited about because it's, when we do cash flow forecasting in SL, which is my background, and we do, inventory forecasting and supply chain forecasting, it's all done on these very stringent models. Well, Microsoft has created something called machine learning technology. And I saw some examples of this recently at a conference, and it's pretty exciting stuff. It basically looks through thousands of records with hundreds of data elements, and it's able to draw correlations that are impossible to do in a very short period of time. So this is an example of using what they call machine learning to do a forecasted cash flow. And Microsoft will continue to build more machine learning solutions that'll take advantage of that technology. So I know they have an inventory forecasting machine learning solution that takes advantage of the data that's in Business Central. It's not available on the Intelligent Cloud Insights yet, but that will be coming probably in the next release, which will be in spring 2019. The other thing I want to point out is the cost of using this Intelligent Cloud Insights tool is only $20 per user per month. So that's really inexpensive. You're talking about $240 a year to purchase a license that gives you access to this portal. Obviously, you need to replicate the data up there. So in order to get that data replicated to Business Central, you'll need to be on the latest version of whatever Dynamics product you're running, whether it's GP, NAV, or SL. The GP and NAV cloud or intelligent edge solutions are available now. They were released in October, and the SL intelligent edge solution is scheduled to be released in December of this year. If you're interested in moving to Business Central now, Velocio is offering special pricing, which includes up to a 50% discount off the normal migration cost, and we're prepared to offer this as a fixed price. We've gone through various scenarios and calculated what we think it'll take, and we've done several of these, so we have a pretty good idea of what the cost is to move your data up to the cloud. And essentially, these are the list of tasks that we would go through. We obviously have to spin up the Dynamics 365 Business Central environment. Then we run through some system analysis tools to make sure that the data that we're migrating is clean and has data integrity. We repair any issues that are found through that analysis. And then we migrate up your system configuration options that exist in SL or GP. We migrate your master records, we migrate opening balances, and we migrate GL history balances. One of the things that we can't bring over today, and I'm not sure whether this will be something that'll be coming in the future, is to bring over transaction history. So obviously one of the, I guess, downfalls of migrating is right now your history remains back in your legacy system. And the way we've dealt with that for some customers is twofold. One is we've created queries, refreshable queries against your legacy database so that you have access to your historical data. You can always keep your old system up and running for inquiry purposes, so you have access to your old transaction history. Another option is you can move your data to a data warehouse that can be accessed with tools like BI 360 or Jet Reports. So we have some options on the history side. We do bring over GL history though, so for running comparative financial reports, that's not a problem. You'll be able to do that. What you just won't have access to customer transaction history or vendor transaction history or inventory transaction history. That is still going to reside in your legacy database. So we calculated for a Dynamics SL core financial company. So this is a company that's running, GL, AP, AR, and cash management. We calculated that the cost would be at our regular bill rates would be about $15,500, and we have an early adopter program price for about half of that, $7,800. And again, we're offering this at a fixed price, so it's pretty inexpensive to migrate up to the cloud to Business Central. If it's something you're interested in doing, I'd certainly encourage you to take advantage of it. Because once obviously the demand increases, then these early adopter pricing won't be able to be offered. This is the pricing we have for Dynamics GP. Again, the process is the same. The pricing's a little bit more, and the reason is because the migration tools that we have for GP are not as robust as the ones we have for Dynamics SL. And the reason that is, I guess, is because we control the migration tools for Dynamics SL. Our sister company, Plumline Consulting, was contracted by Microsoft to build those tools. So we have direct control over what we're building, when we're building it. We actually own those migration tools. The GP migration tools are built by Microsoft, and they're a little bit further behind, surprisingly, in the development of those tools. There is a tool out there, but it's just not as robust as what we have for SL. So we take advantage of that tool, and some of the data will migrate in a traditional manner. But that's the reason why the cost to do a GP migration is a little bit higher than doing an SL migration. And then, of course, if you're beyond core financials, we have an offering for what we call a light distributor. So light distribution. So this would include inventory, purchase order, and sales order. And our early adopter pricing is $18,000. There's some restrictions in terms of the scope of the data that we bring over. So we're looking for this price to fit into this price. You need to be a single site, no bin tracking, no serial lot tracking, no landed cost, no freight manifesting, no warehouse management system, a simple customer pricing model, and no supply chain planning and no EDI. If you have any of those things, we can certainly still migrate you, but depending on which items you have, whether it's EDI or supply chain planning add-on or whatever the case may be, we would just determine what the cost is to migrate that data, and that would be in addition to the $18,000. So our starting base price is $18,000, and then we would increase it, depending on what other items we need to migrate as well. And then similarly, on the GP side, sorry, advanced too fast there. The price is $20,000. Again, the difference, same scenario, same restrictions in terms of a scope and data that we migrate. The price is just slightly higher because of the migration tools are not as advanced as what we have on the Dynamics SL side. And then we have also special pricing for a company that is running projects. So if you're a project-centric company, and we obviously would need to migrate jobs and projects, beginning balances, we need to deal with invoice formatting, and obviously additional training in addition to the core financial applications. So this is our special pricing today for simple projects, and we call it simple projects because in order to move to a more complex project system, we need to include an ISV product called Progressus, which is actually, if you haven't heard of Progressus, you might want to contact your account manager for more information. Progressus is an add-on product to Business Central. It was built specifically for Business Central, and it was built by, again, our sister company, Plumline Consulting, and it is designed to have all the full features and functionality that exists today in SL as well as GP and NAV. So we'll be able to move the very complex. So we can do that today, and we've actually just completed a very large migration for a customer that is, I think they have about 150 timekeepers and very complex project accounting solution. And we just completed a migration for them, moving from Dynamics SL over to Business Central and using Progressus for the project piece. So again, the message there is that we're able to move complex project users as well, and we have to look at each one of those on a case-by-case basis in terms of what it's going to cost. I want to share with you something that I think kind of resonates really well with telling a story about, obviously moving to the cloud, the technology platform, and all the benefits that come with that technology platform. Hopefully you realize that there's a lot to offer, and there's a lot of innovation going on in the cloud. But from a long-term cost of maintaining the system, we wanted to tell a story too, and so we put together an ROI, return on investment model. And this is just one example. We have multiple examples that we can run through if you're interested in taking a look at what it would look like for you. But in this example, the assumptions going in is that this is a 10-user Dynamics GP core financials customer, and their annual maintenance with Microsoft is 3,500 hours a year. So this is about a typical cost model for a 10-user core financial GP user. The average upgrade for a company of this size is about $10,000. And assuming that a company like this upgrades their GP system every 2 years, some people do it every 3 years, but our average is every 2 years that they'll upgrade to the latest version. And they also have to maintain the cost of their in-house infrastructure, so their server costs, and we've done some calculations of what the average annual cost is to maintain servers to host your ERP system. So based on that information, we calculated over a 5-year period, you're spending about $66,000 to maintain your GP system. Now, obviously, that doesn't include any other costs, that you might be, paying to support it. This is just to cover upgrades, annual maintenance, and your infrastructure. By moving to the cloud, your cost model would change. Obviously, you would go from an average annual maintenance fee type model with a perpetual license. You'd go to a subscription license model, and for 10 users at full license fee, non-discounted, and you'll hear in a minute that there is a discount being offered by Microsoft, but in a non-discounted license fee for 10 users, that's $8,400 a year. Based on the promotional pricing that I showed you a few slides back, our migration cost to you would be $9,600. So in year one, your cost would be $18,000, but then in subsequent years, your cost would only be $8,400. And the reason why that's your only cost in subsequent years is because once you move to the cloud platform, your upgrades are at no cost. Microsoft does the upgrades. It's included in your annual license fee. So over a 5-year period, your cost to maintain your D365 Business Central system is about $51,600. So if you look at this over 5 years, you're saving about $14,000. And this is just for a simple 10-user core financials customer. The numbers grow, the savings grow when you start to get into, if you're a distribution customer or a project customer, because the annual maintenance fees and the upgrade cost is significantly higher when you have all those modules. The actual license fee for Business Central of $8,400 is the same whether you're just using core financials or you're using their distribution or you're using their projects. So that's why the savings over a 5-year period becomes significantly more by moving to the cloud. So there's a compelling financial reason to make this move as well. So for companies that do not fit into our predefined migration scenarios, we are offering to do a migration assessment at a discounted price as well. If you're interested in having an assessment done, we will provide a price based on the configuration of your dynamic system. We'll take into consideration any third-party add-ons, any customizations you've had done to your system, and you'll receive a written report on what it will take to migrate your system to Business Central. So we've had several customers take advantage of this. And the reports have come back very positive. So there is an ROI, and they're moving forward with going through with the migration. So if it's something that you're interested in doing, and again, you don't fit into our predefined models, then this is something we can do for you as well. So you'll have a pretty good idea of what it's going to take. And in some cases, it may be something you just want to know now, but you don't want to execute until maybe further down the road when you're ready. But at least you'll know what that cost is, and what the roadmap is for moving your system up to the cloud. So now let's take a look at the licensing model for Business Central. There are basically 3 licenses. One is a team members license for those that have limited needs. If you're just kind of read and approve, you'll be able to run reports and use the employee self-serve components of Business Central. So that kind of equates to the SL and GP light users, if you will. So these team members, the price is $8 per user per month. The Essentials license is where most companies are going to fit into, because it basically includes what most companies use, I guess most non-manufacturing companies use. So it has all of the distribution modules, all the core financial modules, and it's only $70 per month per user. So again, that equates to $840 a year per user, which is pretty inexpensive when you think about it. If to spend $840 a year for a user of a fully robust cloud solution is, at least in my mind, it's a pretty inexpensive number. I mean, it's you pay a lot more, obviously, to have employees than and if you got to give them the tools to do their jobs, and $840 a year is not a lot to spend. If you're a manufacturing company or need the service management series, so field service type functionality, then you need to upgrade to the premium version. And it's nice that Microsoft kind of broke that out, because not many of our customers on the GP and SL side are on the service and manufacturing series. So it's a smaller percentage. We do have customers that need that, but rather than having all customers pay for manufacturing and service, they've broken that out. And so the $70 price, again, it takes advantage of what most companies are really using, at least on the GP and SL side. So now let's take a look at the discount that Microsoft is offering. So if you're on a current license of AX, GP, NAV, SL, POS, RMS, C5, and XL. And so, some of these names you probably don't even recognize with their older systems, but if you're on any of those products and you're on an active maintenance plan, that's very important to note. You have to be on an active maintenance plan. Then Microsoft is offering a 40% discount to the cloud license. So if you look at that $70 license, it's $42 for current Dynamics customers. So that equates to about $500 a year per user to be on Business Central. And this transition pricing, discounting pricing, is available through June 30th of 2021. Now, when they originally came out with this discounted pricing, it was through September of 2019. So they've already extended it to June of 2021. Obviously, it would not surprise me if they extended it again. I think, obviously, Microsoft's motivation is to get as many customers to migrate as possible. And until they reach, I guess, a certain number of customers that have migrated, then they'll obviously, stop with the discount or lessen the discount. But I don't know what that number is. Obviously, only the folks at Microsoft know that. But right now, they've extended it through June 30th of 2021. So you have some time to take advantage of this discounted promotional pricing. And kind of the last thing I want to go over before we get into Q&A is just some really interesting and kind of, these are questions that have come up for me in the past in terms of the capacities of these subscriptions. And I've been asked this many times, file storage being the first one and database storage. Right now, it's unlimited. So, and file storage, the unlimited file storage becomes very important because, you can attach documents inside of Business Central. So whether it's a copy of a vendor's invoice or a copy of a customer PO, copy of, packing slips or whatever the case may be, that you want to store inside the ERP system associated with a specific transaction or record, those copies tend to eat up a lot of storage. So I've been asked this question many times, what happens if our database grows to an extremely large size? It doesn't matter. The capacities that are being offered by Microsoft is unlimited storage. So you can take advantage of that. The other thing to note, which is kind of a really nice feature, is this external accountant license. So Microsoft put this out, I guess, in their April release of the product, that they are now offering a free external accountant's license. So this is just a free license that you can give to or assign to someone outside your company. Obviously, it's intended to assign to your accountant so they can actually come in and have access to run reports and so on and so forth. And obviously, you can control what the rights are for what that license is allowed to see or do. And if you don't want to give it to an outside accountant, then you can just assign it to one of your own people. So you're really just getting a free license. So I thought that was a pretty nice thing to point out. So that's the information I wanted to share with you today, and I guess I'm available for Q&A. And Rebecca, I'll turn it over to you to see if you have any questions that might come in.
We do have a few questions. To confirm, Intelligent Cloud Insights is an add-on to BC.
Intelligent Cloud Insights is an add-on to BC. If you sign up for the Intelligent Edge solution and you buy that $20 per month license, that basically gives you access to Intelligent Cloud Insights. Yes, it's an add-on to BC.
If I migrate to BC now, I get the discount pricing from now through June 30th, 2021, not just 1 year or for so many months?
Yeah, so that's a really good question. So the way the model works is when you sign up for Business Central, you basically sign up for a 1-year commitment on the licensing, or you actually renew. You can always terminate at any time, but you renew your license for 1 year at a clip. So if you sign up, say today, November 2018, your discounted price would, based on the fact that we're still in that discount period, would carry over to November of 2019. Then you would renew in November of 2019, and since you're still within the discount window, you would stay at the $42 for the next year, which would take you through November of 2020. And then when you knew for the third year, since that third renewal year extends beyond the discount period, you would then go up on your third year, you would go up to the $70 because it extends beyond the June 30th, 2021 timeframe. So if you sign up today, essentially you're getting 24 months at the discounted price. Hopefully that makes sense.
Can you elaborate on non-production instance? I understand there's a sandbox capability.
Yeah, so there is the ability to create a sandbox, which is basically just obviously a copy of your database. It does not require you to purchase additional licenses. At least I don't believe it does. And this is a new feature that Microsoft recently came out with their October release is the ability to create a sandbox. What we've been doing with our customers so far is we just make copies of their companies. So we'll make a replication of their production company inside the same instance to use for testing. Obviously, if you're in a situation where you're applying customizations, which are done as extensions, then you'll probably want to go to a sandbox, which is a separate environment. That feature is available, and I believe it is at no cost, but I'd have to double check it though.
You mentioned e-banking. E-banking is not part of the core migration. What solution is available for e-banking?
Actually, e-banking. If I mentioned that, I misspoke. I know e-banking is widely used in the GP and SL install base. E-banking is built in to Business Central, so you no longer need a third-party product. You can do it right within the core system, so it is included.
How long does it take to migrate to Business Central?
So core financials, we're targeting from beginning to end to get that completed in 60 days. Distribution and projects, if you're a light distributor or light project user, that's a 90-day migration. And then when you start to get into the more complex companies, then you're looking at probably 90 to 120 days. But the base core financials, we're doing those in about a 60-day period.
How long before we're required to migrate off our current on-premise dynamic system?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So, and I know a lot of people are thinking about that. Microsoft has committed to continuing to enhance SL and GP. I believe they both have another release scheduled. I'm not sure whether it's 2019, latter part of 2019, I think is when maybe the next release. And then Microsoft support, mainstream support, is 5 years after the most current release. So if you're on, for instance, SL 2018 or GP 2018 or even NAV 2018, which were released this year, then those products will be supported until 5 years out, until the 2023, and obviously if they come out with another release, it'll even go beyond that. So you don't have to migrate to the cloud for quite some time. There's going to be a pretty long tail on your existing products. So obviously, you're not going to be able to take advantage of all the features and functionality and the exciting innovation that's taking place in the cloud. Other than through this intelligent edge and intelligent cloud insights application, which we're obviously hoping that they're continuing to invest in that. They've told us that, but we have to wait and see that how robust that solution gets. But you're not being forced to migrate, and you have many years of staying on your existing product if that's what you choose to do.
Thanks, Dave. It looks like that's all of the questions we have for today. So I
Okay.
just want to thank you for the great presentation and thanks everyone for attending.
All right. Thanks, Rebecca, and thanks everybody for listening.